Cayman Pharmacy Group. With a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital, the Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine. With over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity. We're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial. Complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Monday, the 9th day of September 2019. I trust that everyone had an enjoyable, peaceful, restful weekend. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, the very busy roads of the Cayman Islands this morning, again, we urge you to be extremely cautious. Ensure that you obey the rules of the road. Some portions of the roads may be wet this morning as a result of rain early this morning as well. So, again, you want to adjust your driving to suit the particular road conditions as well. It is unfortunate that on the weekend we again had the loss of 2 lives as a result of vehicular accidents and or accident, and we extend our sincere condolences to the family of those 2 deceased individuals as well. Again, not knowing the particular cause of the accident, but we're operating vehicles on the roads, vehicles that are intended to transport us safely from one destination to the other. But those vehicles can also be used as weapons against ourselves if we do not utilize them properly, if we do not ensure that they are operated properly as well. So again, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. I will try, if time allows today, to share with you some of the issues that the Cayman Islands faced as it relates to traffic in the early and mid-60s. And here we are in the 21st century, 2019, and similar issues are arising again. And it gives cause for us to ask the rhetorical question: have we really moved forward? Have we really progressed? Because we are still facing some of those issues that we faced in the 1960s as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the very busy and sometimes dangerous roads of the Cayman Islands. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. Our phone lines are always open. There is always someone there waiting to take your calls. This morning again, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and the 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, email us at For The Record. That is one word, For The Record, at CANDW.KY. WhatsApp us on 925-3261, where we encourage you to send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. We have no guests in the studio yet, but later on in the show, we expect to have persons here talking about the DG's 5K run walk as well. Meanwhile, we have a little bit of housekeeping to do and some congratulations to some individuals. I'll first start off by congratulating Miss Jackie Patrick of West Bay. And she was named Miss World Cayman during Saturday evening's pageant at the Harquail Theater. So I want to congratulate Miss Patrick on her winning, and we are certain that she will proudly represent the Cayman Islands, not only locally, but internationally as well. Belated anniversary greetings to Mr. Cresswell and Mrs. K. Powery. They celebrated their 54th wedding anniversary yesterday on Sunday. So belated happy 54th wedding anniversary to Mr. Cresswell Powery and Miss K. Powery as well. So great news for them. As I mentioned earlier, some sad news. Another fatality on the roads of the Cayman Islands. Two individuals lost their lives early on Saturday morning as well. To the people of the Bahamas who are going through an incredible tragedy, something that we here in the Cayman Islands can identify with in terms of the destructive nature of the hurricane when it comes to destruction of property. Fortunately, loss of life in the Cayman Islands was at a minimal. 2 lives lost during Hurricane Ivan. In the Bahamas, the numbers are coming very slowly because it appears as if the Bahamian authorities are concentrating more on rescue rather than recovery at this point in time. But it is expected that the numbers will continue to rise. At the same time, the focus continues on those persons who are still alive, trying to minimize the impact on them, trying to get them to safe ground, whether it be within the Bahamas or outside of the Bahamas. And again, we see the United States of America stepping up to the plate, private companies, public companies stepping up to the plate and doing their part. Cruise ship companies doing their part as well. They have benefited immensely from the Bahamas and the people of the Bahamas, and it is now their time to pay it back, and they're doing that, and we hope that they continue to do that, because these first few weeks the Bahamas will be the center of attention when the cameras, the lens of the cameras shift, when they move away. Then most people have a tendency to forget as well, and we cannot afford to do that. We have to continue to support the people of the Bahamas. In the next coming weeks, coming months, coming years, that's when the support is really needed. That's when it will really be required, and the whole world, including us here in the Caribbean, we have to continue to support them. So, again, calling on the leaders of CARICOM to ensure that that continuous support is there for the people of the Bahamas. They need it. They need it badly. Time for us to take a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after this commercial break.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas. History shows by the year 1660, the English had established themselves in Jamaica and had begun treating the Cayman Islands as natural appendages of the larger territory. However, apart from small settlements on Grand Cayman and Little Cayman, most of the three islands were left untouched. This, of course, was ideal for pirates, since Cayman also lay astride the route of treasure galleons returning to Spain, laden with gold and silver from the New World. This promise of capturing Spanish treasure ships on their way home from the Caribbean soon attracted the attention of a motley crowd of buccaneers, pirates, and freebooters. Along with the promise of treasure, the abundance of fresh water, turtle meat, and wood made Cayman an ideal landing spot. The golden age of piracy spanned from the 1650s to the 1730s, as some of the biggest names in buccaneering circle made landing, including Lothar, Lowe, Morgan, and Cayman's most notorious pirate was Edward Teach, otherwise known as Blackbeard, who frequented the area from 1713 to his death on the 22nd of November, 1718.
Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all three Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. Cayman National is hosting a vehicle loan fair on Saturday, 14 September from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Cayman National Recreational Field located across from the main Elgin Avenue branch. Local dealers and insurance providers will be on site with random spot prices, refreshments, and a bouncing castle for the kids. Come out September 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and make that new car you've been dreaming about possible with Cayman National Bank. Have you seen the latest? Cayman has been ranked the most expensive place to live. It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Ropers Janitorial also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be restored with health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Come on, get ready for this year's 2019 Fidelity Fun Run Series. Join us opposite John Gray High School for the first 3 Saturdays in September at 7:30 a.m. for an exciting 2-mile run. Whether you're a serious competitor looking for a fun family activity or you want to take an early stroll, the Fidelity Fun Run Series is the event for you. Strollers and pets are welcome, and we've got trophies up for grabs as well. Register today for the races on September 7th, 14th, and 21st. And get your Fun Run t-shirt. To register, visit CaymanActive.com for more information.
In 1996, Rotary Club Central led the way initiating a disaster fund to prepare and assist our community toward recovery. The Rotary Clubs of the Cayman Islands then expanded this valuable instrument, the Rotary Cayman Disaster Fund. Thereafter, Rotary District 7020, a group of 86 clubs over 10 countries in 16 islands across the Northwest Caribbean, grew this idea, the Rotary District 7020 Disaster Fund. Today, this Rotary Central idea has worked relief and recovery, assisting communities throughout this region. Rotary, with you before, during, and after. Rotary, connecting the world.
I'm going to Vant Motors to test drive the new 7-seater Rush.
They have some really sweet deals going on now, not true?
Yep, on SUVs. And they sweeten the deal by giving you a warm oven-baked cookie with each test drive.
Better test drive more than one, just to be sure.
Take a test drive for a sweet surprise this month at Vant Motors. Test drive any SUV and receive a freshly baked cookie. It's our way of saying thanks for dropping by to check out our huge sale on every SUV in stock. Save up to $4,400 during Vant's summer SUV sale. That's every SUV in stock on sale for thousands off or cash back. Sweeten the deal only at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have about 8 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. Meanwhile, the phone lines are open if you want to call. Probably can accommodate about 2 calls within that 8-minute period, depending on how long each caller chooses to speak. Let's talk a little bit about the verification process. And the latest notification was that the percentage of required 5,292 signatures, they had received 98.3% as of the 6th of September at 8 a.m. I think that brought the figure up to about 5,204. It's quite possible that with the weekend and last week they did announce the locations that they would be located at for verification. So one can almost assume that the effort during the weekend may have resulted in full verification or the verification of the numbers that are necessary. Then, of course, the question will be what happens from there? What will the authorities do? What will Cabinet decide to do at that point in time. Here we are in the month of September. Is there sufficient time now for a referendum to take place before the end of the year, or will it be too much? Those are the questions, and those are political decisions that will be made as well. Political decisions similar, maybe, well, you determine whether or not they're along the same magnitude as decisions that have to be made in the United Kingdom as far as Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister, has to make as well. It appears, based on some of the news, that he will be sending the request to the EU authorities in relation to the delay or extension of the date, the 31st of October, that the UK is to leave the European Union, that he will send that letter as legally required, the law that has been passed. But it appears as if one of his options also is to send another letter to the European Union authorities, advising them to ignore the first letter that he was legally required to send based on the law. So he will send that letter, but the second letter will say, please ignore the first letter that I sent to you, that you were required, that I was required to send, and do not extend the period of time. It is interesting. We see that maybe the French and the German are maybe inclined to go along with the Prime Minister and not grant that. But of course, the French and the Germans do not have the ultimate say in it. But again, I point those two issues out to you. Locally in the Cayman Islands, the political decision that has to be made, and the political maneuvering that the UK Prime Minister is attempting, because he wants to stick to the whole idea of a no-deal Brexit as well. Here in the Cayman Islands, we recognize legally what the Premier and his cabinet has to do, but we also have to recognize that while the signatures are there, or will be there, calling for a people's-initiated referendum, there is quite a bit of latitude that the Premier and his government has in that regard. And only the Premier and his cabinet knows the direction that they will take in that regard. No one is tipping their hands at this point in time in terms of what will be done. Things have been relatively quiet on the people's initiated referendum side of things. We have not been hearing too much. We have not been hearing much from the government, except the government continues to advertise the merits of having new birthing facilities. Of course, there's criticism of that as well, but those who recognize what the government's options are will say you have to do what you have to do. Arguments may be proffered in relation to those who are objecting to the port, or those who want to have more of a say in it, do not have the deep pockets like the government has to campaign, to try to sway people's opinion to their side. And these are all issues that have to be addressed. These are all issues that should be addressed in legislation, and hopefully legislation to that effect can come. Speaking about legislation, one will say, look how quickly in the UK they were able to pass legislation, and here we are in the Cayman Islands with a very small legislature, and we take so long to get things done. Quite a legitimate question that can be asked as well. Time for us to go top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will be having a discussion about the Deputy Governor's 5K run walk. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time by Price Right is 7:59.
Price Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Price Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Sagicor. Let us put a smile on your face. Call 949-8211.
Access. Information. Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Cayman Airways diverts New York flight KX 792 to Orlando International Airport Sunday night after warning lights suggest smoke in the cargo hold. The national airline says flight KX 792 under command of Captain Frederick Worms left Grand Cayman for New York on schedule at 3:30. About an hour and a half into the flight, an emergency was declared following a warning light indicating smoke in one of the cargo holds. The aircraft landed safely at Orlando at 6:17 p.m. CAL says with the uncertainty of what caused the indication, the 103 passengers on board and 5 crew evacuated the aircraft through the emergency overwing exits and the deployed door chutes and slides. Emergency personnel were on site to assist and treat passengers and crew if needed. They were all cleared to the terminal without need for further medical attention and were provided with accommodations and a replacement flight that has been arranged for today. CAL says while the investigation is in progress, there's no evidence at this time of any actual smoke being present in the cargo hold. The plane has been removed from service indefinitely to accomplish required repairs. Due to the aircraft being removed from service, there have been some changes to the airline's flight schedule today. 4 planes have been affected. For more information, you can call 949-2311. The Cayman Islands government is commemorating the life of the late John Bonwell McLean, OBE-JP, former legislator and executive council member, with official public observances and funeral this week. This morning, flags will be lowered at half-mast for all government buildings, precisely at 9 a.m. in the presence of Mr. McLean's family, which will be followed by a moment of silence. His body will lie in state at the Legislative Assembly building from 10 a.m. to 3. Members of the Legislative Assembly and Mr. McLean's family will lead off the viewing. Civil servants and members of the public will then be able to pay their respects throughout the day. The RCIPS says Fort Street will be closed today between Harbor Drive and the junction of Edward Street to facilitate the lying in state. The closure is in place now through 8:30 a.m. and will be in place as well between 3:15 and 4 p.m. this afternoon. A former member of the UN Secretary General's Advisory Board on Disarmament and international expert on financial crime prevention, Dr. Zoka Casanova, will be speaking at the next FTS seminar on proliferation financing in Cayman on September 17th. Radio Cayman's April Cummings reports.
FTS says the seminar will provide information on new requirements and ways to improve compliance procedures to keep pace with recent changes to the Cayman Islands regulatory framework. The goal is to better protect the jurisdiction against risks of proliferation financing. Dr. Casanova will be joined by Ms. Kim France, Sanctions Coordinator of the Cayman Financial Reporting Authority, who will address the recent CFATF Mutual Evaluation Report, which identifies proliferation financing as one of the key areas to be addressed in the Cayman Islands. FTS Director Paul Biles says the seminar is essential for compliance professionals, directors, and CEOs so they can better understand proliferation financing key requirements, identify risks, and mitigate them. The seminar is organized by FTS and made possible through sponsorship of the Ministry of Financial Services. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
The seminar takes place September 17th at the Westin Beach Resort and Spa from 8:30 a.m. until 11:30. Registration is $225 U.S. and includes breakfast. You can register at ftscayman.com/events. And in other news,
into the woods to grandmother's house and home before.
Tickets are still available for James Lapine and Stephen Sondheim's modern classic Into the Woods, which hits the Prospect Playhouse stage on September 12th. Producer of the show, Sherry Ebanks, tells Radio Cayman rehearsal started back in February with cast working on the, quote, intensely challenging score.
It is a difficult process. If you think you know the songs and the melodies, try to put that together with the choreography. There were some very intense times, but fun too.
The show is rated PG due to mild violence and moderate adult themes. The cost is $30 for adults and $20 for students. The show starts September 12th at the Prospect Playhouse, and you can get your tickets at cds.ky. That's your latest news. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's Newsroom.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Sagicor. Let us put a smile on your face. Call 949-8211.
Think about something that makes you happy. Did it make you smile? We know it did, because that's what we do at Sagicor. Put smiles on our clients' faces every day. With a large range of products to cover your family, it's no wonder most locals choose Sagicor for their life insurance needs. Serving the community for over 25 years. Let us put a smile on your face. Call your Sagicor advisor today.
Access. Information. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
There are plenty of reasons to be a Logic customer. There's lightning-fast internet connectivity. There's the great overall customer experience. And now, you can improve your Wi-Fi connectivity with Logic Boost Wi-Fi for free. With Boost, you can extend your freedom to stream, game, and download seamlessly anywhere in your home, like your patio or your underground lair if you have one. Sign up now for any Logic Bundle package and get free Boost Wi-Fi for a limited time. Visit logic.ky for details.
Radio Cayman's premier health show,
For the Health of It with Tara Bush,
is brought to you on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on 89.9 and 93.9 FM. Proudly brought to you by the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. For more information on how you can become a member or the benefits of the CICSA, please visit www.cicsa.ky. For your convenience, the CICSA offices are open on Mondays from 9 to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
The Cayman Islands Cancer Society presents Conquering Cancer 6. Let's fight cancer together. This event will offer you information about new and innovative ways of screening, diagnosing, and treating cancer. Come and learn from the top medical professionals from leading healthcare providers from near and far. The event takes place at the Marriott Beach Resort the 21st of September. This interactive health fair is free to the public of all ages and will include free healthcare screenings for glucose level, blood pressure, BMI, and cholesterol, as well as free health food samples.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Thinking of decorating your home or your apartment? Then Super Stitch is the place for all your household needs. We have sheets, comforters, bathroom accessories, curtains, and a whole lot more. We are the original curtain store with curtains for every room in the house. Summer special now in curtains for $10 a panel. Yes, just $10 a panel. Come see us today at Super Stitch. Super Stitch, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Good morning. Time now for the latest weather report. Synopsis indicate light to moderate winds and slight seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours due to in part to a slack pressure gradient across the West Caribbean. A tropical wave moving across the Western Caribbean will support showers and possible thunder across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours. Radar images show scattered showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the west. The National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida is issuing advisories on Tropical Storm Gabrielle, which at last check was located near 37.7 north, 48.5 west. It's about 1,170 miles west of the Azores, with maximum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour and moving north-northeast at 16 miles per hour. The system poses no threat to the Cayman Islands. The forecast for the Cayman Islands for today calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 60% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will be in the low 90s. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Pretty much the same for tonight, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 60% chance of showers and thunder, and temperatures will be in the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. We're presently at a high tide, and the next low tide will be this afternoon at 1:24, and a high tide again tonight at 7:52. The sun will set this evening at 6:32 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:13. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Wednesday morning.
Superstitch Sewing and Fabric Center was a proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Superstitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky.
Thinking of decorating your home or your apartment? Then Super Stitch is the place for all your household needs. We have sheets, comforters, bathroom accessories, curtains, and a whole lot more. We are the original curtain store with curtains for every room in the house. Summer special now in curtains for $10 a panel. Yes, just $10 a panel. Come see us today at Super Stitch. Super Stitch, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Always ensure that food preparation utensils are washed with a strong detergent and rinsed in hot water in the event that they have made contact with flood water. Boil silverware for 10 minutes and immerse glass, porcelain, china, and plastic items in a solution of hot water and 10% chlorine bleach before use. For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
Hurricane Ivan was a storm that changed the Cayman Islands. On Wednesday, the 11th of September, you're invited to join the Water Authority as it marks the 15th anniversary of Ivan. View the Authority's special exhibit highlighting the impact of the storm and the strides the Authority has made to become stronger and more resilient. Get important preparedness information to help keep you vigilant this hurricane season, all while enjoying lunch. Join the Water Authority in remembering Hurricane Ivan. It all happens on Wednesday, the 11th of September from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Water Authority office.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Introduce yourself to the Fresh Fit 6-inch Whey at Subway.
That's 7 subs that have 400 calories or less.
These are healthier choices made with fresh options, making healthy delicious.
Choose from roast beef, the Subway Club, or Veggie Delight.
There's oven-roasted chicken, turkey breast, black forest ham, and sweet onion chicken teriyaki.
With 400 calories or less and loaded with flavor, enjoy the Fresh Fit subs at Subway. Available island-wide and 24 hours a day at Anderson Square and Centennial Towers.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at traffic. Traffic busy coming from the east and Shamrock Road and the Linford Pearson Highway. Also on Cool Road, traffic is busy, some sections steady. Coming off the Linford Pearson Highway, steady traffic on Agnes Way. And traffic also steady coming off of Bobby Thompson Way. And just to remind you, 4th Street will be closed between Harbour Drive and the junction with Edward Street by the Clock Tower today until 8:30 this morning, and then again from 3:15 until 4 p.m. And looking at what's happening on North Sound Road, traffic is moderate. Little steady traffic on Godfrey Nixon Way. Nothing to worry about too much. Eastern Avenue traffic is moderate. Coming from the West Bay 4-way stop, light to moderate traffic flow. Steady traffic on Huldah Avenue. Thomas Russell Way traffic is flowing moderately. In and out of Georgetown on Shedden Road, things aren't looking too bad as traffic is moderate. And on Old Roberts Drive, traffic is light. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll update you traffic-wise. Have a good morning and buckle up.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam he could pass. And we had the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's eye exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Get half off a complete pair of glasses with any student's eye exam, now extended to September 14th. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook, located in Caymanian Village.
Terms and conditions apply.
Each weekday, Monday through Friday, Miracle Brokers is the proud sponsor of Radio Cayman's Bulletin Board. For all your moving needs, call the professionals at Miracle Brokers, 949-5989 or 916-0355. For a free estimate, they take the hassle out of moving. Miracle Brokers.
Now located at 140 Kingbird Drive in the North Sound.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's back. And this year, it's bigger and better than ever. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman presents PACE, the 8th annual Delano Hislop Memorial Journey for Life, 5K walk, 10K run, and introducing the all-new 15K ride event. That's right, parents, kids, young and old. Come out on Sunday, September 22nd at the all-new starting location at the all-new Jasmine Building,
adjacent to Coconut Joe's parking lot.
Also, participants who raise the most funds can win one of our 3 grand prizes.
$250 for third place, $500 for second place, or the $1,000 grand prize. Other random prizes will be available on site.
So Cayman, it's time to get active. Sign up today at caymanactive.com/pace. Be a part of the 5K walk, 10K run, and the all-new 15K ride event.
Sponsored in part by DART, CUC, Cayman Water Company, the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association, Water Authority Cayman, Borden Holdings, BF Insurance, Cineco, and the Maples Group.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Sticking to my promise, it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me here this morning the folks to talk about the DG's, that is the Deputy Governor's 5K Challenge. And it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me again Miss Jennifer Ahern. She is the DG's 5K co-chair. She's also Strategic and Operations Officer in the Office of the Deputy Governor. Also with us, Ms. Susie Borden, who is the CEO of the Special Needs Foundation of Cayman. Ms. Meher Lamba, who's the Outreach Coordinator for the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and Mr. Shane Purcell, who's the head of fundraising and a board member and support group facilitator for the Alex Panton Foundation. Folks, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for having us on this morning.
And from there, I'm going to throw the mic over to Ms. Jennifer Ahern. I want to talk about the 5K challenge. We can give the dates first and then talk a little bit about some of the changes, and then we'll get into the whole meat of the discussion as well.
Great. Well, thanks again for having us on this morning. Really excited to be here. And if you're wondering why we're here in September, that's because we did change the dates this year. We've had the event in April. Every other year. Mm-hmm. But because we had Carifta earlier this year, which was a huge success, and a lot of our volunteers were involved with the hosting of Carifta, we decided that for this year, and for this year only, we would push the event into September. So you can expect to see us back again early next year to kick off next year's event, which will move back to April. Okay. But we're here now with the BRAC event this Sunday, the 15th of September, and then the event here in Grand Cayman on the 29th of September. So we're not going to Little Cayman this year. We started for the first time in Little Cayman last year. We had a great time. But unfortunately, when we moved it to September, we discovered that most of the resorts in Little Cayman are closed in the month of September. So not only would we not have anywhere to stay, there'd be nobody to come and have the fun with us. So we are missing out Little Cayman this year. But don't worry, Little Cayman will be back next year for the 2020 in April. But yeah, so this Sunday, September 15th, is when we'll be in Cayman Brac for the Cayman Brac event. Really excited to be going there. I have been advised that His Excellency, the Governor, is going to be coming to Cayman Brac to join us for that event, which is fantastic. It's the first time we've had a governor come across for the Brac event. And then Sunday the 29th, again, we'll be here in Grand Cayman and hoping to get as many people as we can out. Last year we had over 2,000 people come out for the event. We'd like to repeat that again this year because we've got some fantastic charities that we're supporting this year, and we've got representatives from them who are going to tell everybody a bit about the great work that they do.
Yes, yes.
And so we just really want to encourage people to come out and be part of the event and part of giving back to the community while you're doing something good for yourself, getting out on a Sunday morning, getting a little exercise, probably seeing people you haven't seen for a while, and just being able to go home and feel really good about a good day.
How does that 2,000 number stack up with when the event was initiated?
Oh, my goodness. So the first year, the Deputy Governor and I, when we got together and decided when I said, DG, I think you need to have your own 5K. So the Deputy Governor, and he'll tell us about it, launched a personal fitness program. And he started getting out and being more active and going to more of these 5Ks, and he challenged the civil service. The first challenge he gave us was to do the marathon or the half marathon, and he supported some of the civil servants who wanted to sign up. But he was going and doing a lot of these 5Ks, and we had the healthcare conference, which focused on workplace wellness. And at the end of the conference, I challenged everybody to go away and make at least one improvement, one change in their workplace that would help improve workplace wellness. And so I thought to myself, well, what am I going to do? And so I went and got together with some other civil servants. At the time, it was just four of us. It was Charles Gilman, who's now with Cayman Airways, Tony Watts, who was with Lands and Surveys, now working with DECO, and Tara Bush, who everybody will know from For the Health of It. And she's one of those real walk the walk, talk the talk people.
Yes, and she's still on the road. I saw her last week out there.
So the four of us got together, and we put together the Government Admin Building Walk Run Club, which has been meeting on Monday evenings ever since. And we also got the Deputy Governor to agree that he would put this 5K challenge out to the civil service and the community at large. So the first event, I think we thought we would like to have, 250 people. I think we had 500. So we've gone from that first year to over 2,000 people last year, which has just been fantastic.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Now, you spoke, about some of the organizations that will be benefit from the proceeds of this, the DG's run and or the DG's event. And speaking of the DG, he's right here with us.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Deputy Governor. How are you? Welcome back to For the Record.
Yes.
Looked like you were sprinting coming here. getting your workout this morning already, huh?
Yeah, I've still not mastered being in the two places at the same time, so I had lots of other things going on this morning. But thank you very much for having us.
Thank you very much for being here also. And I'd like to have you say something now.
Sure. I mean, we're really excited again to have the Deputy Governor's 5K Challenge. We're in the BRAC on Sunday, and then 2 weeks later, we're here in Grand Cayman. And I must say, the support that we have received has been outstanding. We have some amazing charities that we're working with again this year. But also, the whole idea of keeping fit, getting out there, having some fun. You ride your bike every morning. It just has basically a change of lifestyle, where you get out and you exercise, and the benefits are tremendous. But also, just on the day of the event, just seeing everyone there, everyone excited, the lots of energy, it is really a fantastic event. So we want to get the public to come out again this year in Cayman Brac and in Grand Cayman, and let's make this year's challenge the very best ever.
Yes. Before you got here, Ms. Ahern was talking about the huge jump from when the event kicked off. Yes. It's in the initial event to last year's, where you had over 2,000 participants.
Absolutely. I mean, when we first thought about this, Ms. Ahern came to me with the idea. We were saying, wouldn't it be fantastic if we could give $5,000 to a charity? And today we're last year was 8,000 or 9,000.
Wow.
So it has been absolutely amazing. But it speaks so well of the Caymanian people and those who genuinely care about our community, who will come out and support worthy charities. I think that's what's really special about Cayman, is obviously the people that live here that genuinely care about the success of our islands. And the DG's 5K is a fantastic opportunity for people to come together and support some excellent charities.
Okay. Now, there are so many charitable organizations in the Cayman Islands. We face many challenges, and when we compare ourselves now to ourselves in the 50s and the 60s, we have so many more organizations that are supporting the challenges, the needs that we have as individuals, that we have collectively as a community. And one of those is the Special Needs Foundation of the Cayman Islands. And we have the CEO of the Special Needs Foundation, Ms. Susie Barden, with us. Ms. Susie, tell us and our listening and viewing audience about the Special Needs Foundation.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Special Needs Foundation supports families who have children with developmental disabilities and special educational needs. We have sort of, I like to think of us as two halves. We have a lot of work actually taking place at, we call it our house, which is above Doctors Express on Godfrey Nixon Way. We provide lots of support for families, parent support sessions, education, lots of social events for the children. Saturday morning we had huge numbers there on this last Saturday morning. Parents can get a chance to get some respite while the children are playing. We have yoga, mindfulness, reading with therapy dogs, which is fairly new to us and has been very exciting. So we have lots of things happening actually at our facility, but we also then have a whole inclusion program where we actually have inclusion specialists going out to schools, private and government, and we're helping to make sure that our children are included in mainstream schools. Every child deserves the right to an inclusive life, and we're trying to make sure that happens. So teachers need, we're actually doing lots of professional development for educators, but we're also able to do in-class coaching as well. I mean, you can go to lots of professional development, but it doesn't always change practice. So we're able to support that then by actually going into the classroom and actually working with the teacher to make sure they have the skills. So we're trying to make sure that there are more places available, and also that where there is a placement, that's more successful, because we don't want children just put somewhere without it being successful. We want them to be successful, but all the research shows that if you include children in mainstream schooling, every single person benefits. The child with differences, but also every other typically developing child. So we've made some headway in the last year. We've had a massive growth in the last year. a year ago it was just me, and now we actually have some staff, and but obviously we have the costs associated with that. We don't charge anything to our parents or to educators. Everything we do is free, but that's why we need good fundraising. So part of my job is fundraising to make sure that we can continue to do that and that we can grow.
And your staff complement now has jumped to what?
We are now we've got 2 new staff coming on board. One hopefully both at the beginning of October, where will then be 5 people. So which is great, but there's massive need. I mean, even so, as well as fundraising, the awareness from being a chosen charity is huge. And in the last few months, we've had so many more families come through our doors needing help. And the phone calls sort of, we have no school place for our child. What do we do? What do we do? So we've been able to help, but we have a lot of work to do. We've started on a journey, but it's a long journey. We have a lot of change to happen.
How has the landscape changed in terms of special needs in the Cayman Islands from, let's say, past few years or a decade?
I think there's more awareness now. More children are being diagnosed now, so it looks like the numbers are increasing, but I think the numbers actually are pretty much in line with the US and the UK. We would imagine that there's about 1,400 children in the Cayman Islands with special educational needs. More children now have a diagnosis because it's, the educators are better at recognising things. There's more professionals on island to do that assessment work. There's a huge need. I think the big difference, I mean, I've been in Cayman 13 years, and the big difference to me is how those children are supported, and there's definitely schools are becoming more willing to understand that actually they don't need to be segregated, they should be included. And if you include children from very young age, if you include them in school, you include them in recreation, you can include them in community as adults. If you segregate, unfortunately they become segregated throughout their lives.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the discussion about the DG's 5K challenge will continue. We will hear from a representative from the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and we'll talk a little bit about the Cayman Islands Crisis Center. They're one of the beneficiaries of the DG's 5K challenge. Please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
I'm going to Vant Motors to test drive the new 7-seater Rush.
They have some really sweet deals going on now, not true?
Yep, on SUVs. And they sweeten the deal by giving you a warm oven-baked cookie with each test drive.
Better test drive more than one, just to be sure.
Take a test drive for a sweet surprise this month at Vant Motors. Test drive any SUV and receive a freshly baked cookie. It's our way of saying thanks for dropping by to check out our huge sale on every SUV in stock. Save up to $4,400 during Vant's summer SUV sale. That's every SUV in stock on sale for thousands off or cash back. Sweeten the deal only at Vant Motors, Walkers Road. Have you seen the latest? Cayman has been ranked the most expensive place to live. It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Ropers Janitorial also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511.
Sometimes people leave you halfway through the wood. No one is alone.
Once upon a time, all your wishes came true, and you lived happily ever after. Or so you thought. Come see Cayman Drama Society's presentation of the musical Into the Woods.
Into the woods to grandmother's house and home before dark.
The show opens Thursday, September 12th, closes Saturday, October 5th. Tickets are selling fast. Order yours now at cds.ky.
Into the woods and out of the woods.
To be continued.
In 1996, Rotary Club Central led the way initiating a disaster fund to prepare and assist our community toward recovery. The Rotary Clubs of the Cayman Islands then expanded this valuable instrument, the Rotary Cayman Disaster Fund. Thereafter, Rotary District 7020, a group of 86 clubs over 10 countries in 16 islands across the Northwest Caribbean, grew this idea, the Rotary District 7020 Disaster Fund. Today, this Rotary Central idea has worked relief and recovery, assisting communities throughout this region. Rotary, with you before, during, and after. Rotary, connecting the world.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking about the Deputy Governor's 5K Challenge. My pleasure to have in the studio with me the Honorable Franz Madison, Deputy Governor of the Cayman Islands, Ms. Jennifer Ahern, who's the Deputy Governor's 5K co-chair, as well as being the Strategic Operations Officer in the Office of the Deputy Governor. We also have with us Ms. Susie Barden, who is the CEO of the Special Needs Foundation of the Cayman Islands, and you heard her speak earlier. Also with us, we have Ms. Mihir Lamba, who's the Outreach Coordinator for the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and last but not least, Mr. Shane Purcell, who's the Head of Fundraising and also Board Member and Support Group Facilitator for the Alex Panton Foundation. We're now going to hear from Ms. Lamba from the Cayman Islands Crisis Center. Tell us and our listening and viewing audience about the Cayman Islands Crisis Center.
So the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and we want to take a moment to just thank the DG, Ms. Ahern, and the private sector sponsor as well of the DG's 5K, because the funds that we raise, the awareness that we get for the Crisis Center has been really beneficial and will continue to be really beneficial, and we know that. And what I really want to focus on today, in the last 16 years since the Crisis Center has been open, we've expanded our services a lot. We've started providing more services for youth. We've started providing a wraparound of services. We provide services to men. But what we need to focus on right now is that there is a growing need in the Cayman Islands for access to service. And it's not because more people are experiencing domestic violence, but because more people are recognizing that domestic violence exists and more people are reporting it. The police reports have gone up more than double in the last few years, and where they were at last year at over 2,000, they've almost already hit this year, and we're not even at the end of the year yet. So we know that more people are making those reports, and we are feeling the brunt of that because more people are coming forward to access services as well. Mm-hmm. And so in recognizing that, we want to be ahead of the game, and the Cayman Islands Crisis Center has a 5-year plan now to build a new shelter. So for the next few years, we're trying to meet the needs that we already had. We're trying to deliver our regular day-to-day services, but we're trying to save money and make sure that we are building a purpose-built shelter that can house women and children, because our current shelter is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home with 24 beds and 2 cribs. Wow. And over the course of November and December last year, we had the highest rates of access we've ever seen. In November last year, over the course of the month, there were 34 women and children residing at the shelter, and in December it was 35. So recognizing that at those moments when you really need to heal, when you're trying to recover from something, you're trying to build your life back and start a life free from violence, you need your space to heal as well. And you're there with your children. You could have children of other ages. Just because you're all living together doesn't mean you all have the same mentalities and the way of communicating and all of that. So we want to build a space where people can heal in with their own space and more freely with what their needs are. So that's really where the funds from the DG's 5K are going right now, and it's so beneficial to us, whatever money we get in the next little while, and over the next few years, so that we can move forward and build our new shelter, so that we can continue on our lofty goal, which is to end domestic violence in Cayman forever.
Okay. Now, so the DG's challenge is one of the benefactors for your organization. Now, when we look at other organizations that do such excellent work in the Cayman Islands, for instance, Jasmine, which used to be Cayman Hospice Care, and they found a champion in Derek Haynes, who not only locally but internationally just basically took the stage and raised money, for that, in quite a short period of time as well. Do you think that your organization could achieve such good results as well?
We actually do have that hope, and we're doing there's lots of different avenues that we're looking at for funding. One of them is the DG's 5K. We're looking at grants from other organizations, other events as well. But one of the things, the chair of our board is actually doing something similar to that, where she will be doing a 6-month trek through the United States. And is raising funds for doing that, and she's inviting people along who can come and join her for a week at a time, and sponsor the event as well to hopefully help us raise funds. I'm sure we would come back on another time to talk about that, because I would love for her to provide more information about that. But we are looking at whatever avenues, because we know that the need is really there, but the funds need to come at a larger scale for us to be able to build our new shelter.
And what is good too, government, I'm sure, will do their part, but you're not relying solely on the government, for that to take place. Of course, it would be nice, for that to happen, and maybe one of these days it could happen, as well.
But the Cayman Islands community really has been so supportive of the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and we can't thank the community at large enough for the support that we get on an ongoing basis every year. We get less than half of our funding from the Cayman Islands government just for our day-to-day services that we provide. So we would not be able to do anything that we do without the support of the community, the private sector, individual people, also our volunteers that we have. We run most of our programs with volunteers, and we couldn't do it as a staff of 12 people running a shelter that has to run 24/7. No matter whether it's Christmas Day, New Year's Day, someone has to be there. And we couldn't do that without the support of our volunteers as well.
Okay. Ms. Susan, do we have to take a break now, or can we continue? Okay. The Alex Panton Foundation, an entity that has really taken the stage by storm in terms of awareness, and the public people are, certainly grateful, for it. It has given voice to many people who didn't have that voice before, didn't have the courage to use that voice. Tell us about the Alex Panton Foundation, Mr. Purcell.
Yeah, first of all, I'll try and slow it down because I have a strong Irish accent. So at the press conference last time, I kind of realised, I went a bit overboard. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head, as in what we're trying to do is break the stigma, right? That's one of the parts that we're trying to do. And that's really picking up steam lately, I find, over the last year. And that's why I agree with you totally, that the community are behind us. Everybody's talking about mental health now. Not saying it wasn't before, but it's definitely a topic. We can't, and this is what we try to tell people, we can't do all this on our own, right? It's down to the community, the teachers, parents, everybody. So it's a joint effort. And that's why one of the events we do is we have our psychoeducation events in the evenings. So our last one just finished up recently, which was Young Men at Risk. Before that, then we had, for example, self-harm, we had suicide ideation, and again, all these events and these talks are given by our clinical psychologist, and they're obviously always free to attend, like all our events, including the support group that I lead as well. So yeah, it's definitely picking up steam, and it's brilliant, the recognition and everything that we're trying to achieve, and we have lots of events coming up. We have, initiatives that we've launched. We've just recently launched the Youth Ambassador Program. So basically, that's just for 12 to 16 year olds. I guess it's just to have a key person kind of at that age group, like a peer person, like other kids can go to for support. So these kids will have knowledge. We'll put them through a program. They'll build up certain badges. basically just improving the personal skills, communication, resiliency, their mental health knowledge. So that's something that we just recently rolled out. So we're delighted with that. And also, in conjunction with that, at the same time, we're rolling out the, you might have seen it in the media, is the emotional literacy program. So it's called Apple and Zippy Friends. So that's now for 5 to 9 year olds in the schools. So again, what we're doing there is we've bought the copyright for a program on Ireland. So we're going to train up, our psychologists are going to go in and train up the teachers, hopefully implement that then in the curriculum. And eventually we hope to get into other kind of groups in the community, like say YMCA, Kiwanis, these kind of groups as well, to maybe try and train up people there as well. So emotional literacy is it's a big key thing for us. Because obviously later in life then we'll have the skills, and young companions will have the skills to deal with life's problems, right, and emotional stuff that gets thrown at them. So we've that ongoing as well, and then we've a big initiative, a bigger one, massive one actually, I don't know, is the Cayman Health. We're kind of creating a mental hub in the Georgetown Town Hospital. So the HSA have given us a room in the hospital, so we're going to man that with 4 to 5 full-time clinical nurses 24/7. It's basically just to have a warm, safe environment, so if a kid comes in, young adolescent or a child comes into the A&E, that we can take them out of that environment, bring them into the room, put them through the system, assess them, and and get a plan in place. And branching off from that, we will have a child text line. In addition, again, that'll be monitored by clinical nurses as well, 24/7. And also we hope to roll out a mobile unit as well to get out in the community as well. So that's another initiative kind of branching off from the mental health hub. So so we've lots of things going on, and it's brilliant that we're getting a lot of publicity, and we're fundraising brilliant from the public and from businesses as well. So that's really good. So
excellent. We have a caller. We're going to take a break. We're going to ask that caller to please hold on. Short commercial break. As soon as we return, we want to hear from you, caller. So don't hang the phone up. Stay on the line. We will be back with you shortly.
Come on, get ready for this year's 2019 Fidelity Fun Run Series. Join us opposite John Gray High School for the first 3 Saturdays in September at 7:30 a.m. for an exciting 2-mile run. Whether you're a serious competitor looking for a fun family activity or you want to take an early stroll, the Fidelity Fun Run Series is the event for you. Strollers and pets are welcome, and we've got trophies up for grabs as well. Register today for the races on September 7th, 14th, and 21st. And get your Fun Run t-shirt. To register, visit CaymanActive.com for more information.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
We at the Wharf have the only multi-purpose conference room in Cayman, providing high-speed internet and all state-of-the-art audio and visual, and are now open and ready for your meetings and events. Multiple wireless microphones and Dolby surround speakers make your presentations on the giant screen clear and interactive. Imagine your meetings with a view, a full bar and kitchen on site where all your needs are cared for, just a few steps away from the Caribbean Sea. All F&B will be customized to your preference. Call 949-2231 or email info@wharf.ky to start planning your waterfront meeting now.
The Breeze Fusion is back Saturday, November 2nd.
Bigger
and better.
Now featuring a 5K walk run
And a 10K run for half marathon trainers.
Join the fun and help raise funds for the Central Scranton Park and the NCVO. Save the date or register now at CaymanActive.com or at Radio Cayman Studios. Registration is only $15 if registered by September 30th. And all early registrants enter to win a Cayman Airways voucher.
The Breeze Fusion 5K 10K walk run.
Saturday, November 2nd.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking about the Deputy Governor's 5K Challenge. We have the Deputy Governor with us. We have Ms. Jennifer Ahern. We have Ms. Susie Bawden, Ms. Mahir Lamba, and Mr. Shane Purcell. Some of them represent the organizations, some of the organizations that will be benefiting from the DG's 5K Challenge as well. We have a caller. As promised, we're going to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, sir, Connor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Okay. Good morning, to the Deputy Governor.
Good morning, sir.
France Manson, Ms. Ahern, and the rest of the guests.
Good morning.
Yes, I was wondering if you all would be able to work with the NAU in getting funds to help people who are not able to afford baby car seats.
You mean raise funds for the NAU?
Yeah, if you all are able to work with the NAU in getting funds to help those individuals who are not able to afford baby car seats, who may be in need of baby car seats, which I think is very important.
Yes, agreed. I haven't considered that, but I'm open to all suggestions. We normally, the beneficiaries of the DG's 5K are normally non-government. We haven't done anything for a government department as yet, but I won't rule it out. Your suggestion is a good one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, caller. For that as well. We're going to go back to Mr. Purcell and just to talk about how your organization will benefit from the proceeds of the DJ's challenge, as well as any additional exposure that you may receive from it as well. I noticed that on your website, there's also the ability for people to not only sponsor, but to make donations as well. Can we talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the visibility sometimes is nearly just as important, if more important, right? And that's why I mentioned it gets people talking. I mean, even after the event, during the event, if people are just jogging or walking even, that they can discuss kind of mental health issues or things going on in their life with each other. And it's a great event as well, because obviously mental health and exercise, exercise is so important for mental health, as we all know. So that's a key thing. And obviously then the funding, we've so much things coming up and such big ticket items that any of these funds will definitely go to help towards all of those items. So yeah, it's big task, but yeah, we're just really generous and gratitude towards Miss Ahern and the DG.
Yeah. I must say that events now involving physical activity in the Cayman Islands are becoming more and more popular, and one would think that with so much exposure that people will not be attracted to it, but more and more people are attracted to these events, which is good. Like Shane said, not only from a mental standpoint, but from a physical standpoint as well. There's so many people who are physically active at this point in time as well. Ms. Jennifer?
Yeah, no, I think for sure the link, I think one of the conversations that they're having increasingly in the area of health is the fact that we have to stop separating between mental health and physical health and just recognize that health is health, and that the mental health aspect of our overall health is as important. if not more so, and has to be given that recognition. And the tagline that we have for this year's event is moving away from stigma, stronger together. Because one of the things that we think we really need to do more of in the area of all of the beneficiary charities this year is look at combating the stigma. You know, we heard about how the reports of the domestic violence, the numbers are going up, and we think that that's not necessarily because there's an increase in the occurrence, but because there's more of an awareness and people are more aware of the need to act and the need to report. Same thing with the work that the Alex Panton Foundation is doing. It's fantastic that they're getting into the schools, getting into the primary level, looking at emotional literacy. You know, it's and the discussions around the needs for the Special Needs Foundation and how we can better address those things in the community. All of that is so important, and it's all so linked together. And, you know, like Shane said, you can come out and you'll be out meeting with people when you do the DG 5K. We were saying on the break, you know, if you haven't been training, you know, you should still come along, because you'll find that the energy on the day, if you can just imagine, we've got almost 2,000 people gathered outside the government administration building. We've got all the feather banners going. We've got music. Everybody's got their DG blue shirts on. The lucky early registrants will have their white cool caps on. That's a new thing we've got this year for people who register early, is a limited edition event cap, baseball cap. And just the energy and the excitement, and then you'll start and you'll be talking to people you haven't seen for a while, and before you know it, you'll be at the end of the course.
Exactly.
and it won't feel like work at all. And you know, so really, if you haven't ever done the DG's 5K, I really want to encourage you to come and to try. It might be the first step that you take to a lifelong journey of doing 5Ks, walking them, running them. It might be the first step you take towards running the marathon.
Yes.
You know, and it's also just a great thing to do something good for yourself while you're supporting these really worthwhile charities who are making such a difference in meeting in the needs of the community.
And it may be a good warm-up event for any other event that is taking place for someone as well. DG, can you talk a little bit about the route, where it takes us, and the after party?
Yes. Well, the event starts right here at the Government Administration Building. We then head down towards Credit Union, make a right onto Smith Road, and then we go down to Walker's Road, turn right on Melmac, come back on South Church Street, and come back into town, go across the court's house, and then back to the police station, back to the finish line right in front of the government building here. So you get this really nice walk across or run right across the harbor. It's my favorite part of the route because you get all the nice fresh breeze from there.
Scenic as well.
Yeah, you get recharged and sprint to the finish line. But it is, as Ms. Ahern said, it's just been absolutely amazing. One of the best compliments that I received was a few years ago. A lady came up to me and she said, you know, Franz, you know, I was starting to not believe in Cayman anymore. But being here this morning and seeing so many hundreds and hundreds of people coming just to give back to a charity has made me have renewed hope that things are well in Cayman. And that's, you know, what we're all about, is that, you know, we see needs in our community. You can either complain about it or you can be part of the solution. And those people that are signing up for the DG's 5K are being part of the solution. They're giving $25 towards a charity, which is going to make a huge difference. If you think about what we did last year, where we gave $8,000 and $9,000 to the Kiwanis for their breakfast program, Meals on Wheels, and Feed Our Future, that those people got food that were not maybe going to get something to eat, because someone came forward and put $25 in and did the 5K. On our amazing sponsors who have done, the private sector has been absolutely amazing coming forward with sponsorship. So it is really basically just shows what a great place Cayman is, that we're all will come together for these amazing causes and charities.
Can we talk about safety along the route, the support that you will receive in terms of marshalling and everything, so that people can not that we need to assure them, because people have been assured so far that the numbers went from 500 to over 2,000 in 6 years. So.
Yeah, we have an amazing team of volunteers who will be out on the race course on the day. They'll be wearing their branded marshal shirts or staff volunteer shirts, and they'll be helping to direct the traffic and keep the traffic at bay, make sure that the participants know where they need to go. We've also got volunteers from the RCIPS who will be on the course on their bicycles, helping us out as well. So, and in the weeks leading up to the event, we also make sure that we go through the course ourselves a couple of times. If we have any dogs that we think we need to ask the owners to make sure they keep a little closer in the yard, we do that. But it's a great morning. Everybody can come along and be very confident that they'll be safe on the roads, and it's there's also safety in numbers. You can imagine that if there's a massive amount of people going down the road, that the traffic just gets out of the way more or less. So yeah.
Okay, we have a question off air, and it was for the crisis center, and I believe that Ms. Lambert may have covered it, but we'll ask her again. And what I want to say is that you're scheduled to be on until 9 o'clock, but if you want, we want to extend it until at least 9:15, because we want to give everyone an opportunity to wrap up. So when we reach the headline news in about another minute or so, we'll have a commercial break, and then we'll come back and keep you on until 9:15 or longer if you want to be as well. But one of our offline questions had to do with abuse, and with the fact that it is not only relates to domestic violence, not only occurs against women, but men as well, and what is the crisis center doing to accommodate men also?
Absolutely. So I will say that at this time, we unfortunately do not provide housing to men. We provide housing and safe shelter to women and children. And there's a variety of reasons for that. The first is that just based on numbers, women experience domestic violence at higher rates, and we are the only shelter in the Cayman Islands, so we're doing as much as we can. But the other piece to that is men and women also experience domestic violence differently and perpetuate domestic violence differently. So in many cases, and I'm not saying in all cases, because there are definitely cases where men do require safe shelter, but in many cases, men are not being necessarily financially abused and may not need to actually leave their home. But what we have done is we have expanded our services. And so 2 years ago, we opened our walk-in center, which is Estella's Place. It's on Eastern Avenue across from the Popeyes in town. It's on the second floor of Crown Square, and Estella's Place is our walk-in center. So absolutely anyone, women, men, and children, can walk in and access services at Estella's Place, and they would receive the same services that they would get at our shelter without the residential aspect. So they would still have access to case management. We would still talk about safety planning, make referrals, and talk about what their options are. And I will actually say that out of all of the walk-ins that we've had at Estella's Place, I think we've had one woman. All of the rest of our walk-ins at Estella's Place have been men, and they come in and they just don't know. They'll always ask the question, is what I'm experiencing domestic violence? And it always is. And we don't want to discount that. We want to make sure that as we're raising awareness about what domestic violence is, we want to make sure that men who are experiencing domestic violence are also recognizing those signs, and those numbers are also going up in the police reports of men who are experiencing domestic violence, recognizing the signs and coming forward.
Okay, we've reached the top of the hour, 9 o'clock headline news. When we return, the conversation will continue, so please stay tuned.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Cayman Airways Limited confirms that there was an emergency landing Sunday night. Flight KX792 destined to New York from Grand Cayman was diverted to Orlando International Airport following a smoke indication of one of its cargo holes. Everyone was evacuated safely, and at this time there's no evidence that there was smoke in the cargo hold. A 5-week suspension of Parliament will begin later after MPs are expected to again reject government calls for a snap election. Opposition MPs confirmed they would not back the push for an October 15th poll, insisting a law blocking a no-deal Brexit must be implemented first. Ministers have said they will, quote, test what the law, expected to get final approval today, requires of them. Boris Johnson has been warned he could face legal action for flouting it. And Russia's ruling United Russia Party has suffered major losses in Sunday's election to the Moscow City Parliament. Nearly complete results show the party lost nearly a third of the seats in the 45-member parliament, but remains on course to retain its majority with about 26 seats, with most opposition candidates disqualified. The communists, independents, and others gained seats. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking about the Deputy Governor's 5K challenge that is taking place. And Sunday, the 15th of September, Cayman Brac, Sunday the 29th of September in Grand Cayman. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's correct. Coming up soon. We're talking also about the with the beneficiaries. I shouldn't say some, with all of the beneficiaries of the proceeds of the DG's challenge as well. They are the Alex Panton Foundation, Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and the Special Needs Foundation of the Cayman Islands as well. Unfortunately, the Deputy Governor had another commitment, so he had to leave us at 9 o'clock, and able to filling in for him will be, of course, his co-chair, Miss Jennifer Ahern. I want to give the representatives from the various organizations an opportunity to for some final comments about their organization, to highlight it, make any public pleas that you want to make to the public as well. This is a good platform to do that, and I urge you to take advantage of it. Starting with Mr. Shane Purcell.
Thanks. Thank you very much. And actually, there was one, the support group that we have for the Alex Panton Foundation. That was something I wanted to circle back on. So it's a support group for young adolescents between 18 and 25 with mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. So the group goes on from maybe 3 to 4:30, maybe sometimes to 5 p.m. So it's every Saturday in Georgetown Town Hall, so it's across from the library. It's free to attend. There's also free public parking across the road in the library. I've got approval from the library director, just in case, right? Because we're all very sensitive about the car parking here. So yeah, I just want to try and encourage people to come out and try and, if they know of people or people who are suffering, that they can try and come and attend. I know we have the stigma here, it's a small island, but like, your mental health is so important. You know, you go to your doctor for your physical health, so I'm really trying to push that. We're pushing it a lot more on social media. We're going to be boosting our the flyer for the support group. So it's actually one I'm leading myself. So I'll be the facilitator. So it's important just to kind of highlight that again. And another thing I kind of wanted to touch on as well is just some of the figures. So basically, the Alex Panton Foundation commissioned the NDC, the National Drugs Council, to do a study for our symposium last year, and these figures are open to the public. They were released on the day. But it's very startling, some of the figures, and this is why I want to tell your listeners to try and remember these three figures, if anything else that I've said, because you kind of have, I get a lot that, I didn't know we had mental health issues here, or didn't know there's depression here. You know, it's a nice sunny Caribbean island, right? But so on the study, and again, this is for kids in the high school, right? 34% of the kids came back and said had suicide ideations, right? So that's fairly high, like 34%. Of that, approximately, and again I'm giving approximate figures because there's a slight adjustment, but approximately 14% then actually attempted a suicide, and only 4% went out to seek help. So that in itself, for me anyway, personally, is pretty startling. So, but again, to finish on a good note, we are with the community's help. Again, parents, teachers, right? Because teachers are helping us out in the schools, right? Because they're seeing the kids come in and they're maybe talking to them and taking them aside and trying to help them out on some of their mental health issues too. So it's a joint effort. It's not just Alex Patton Foundation, it's the community and it's businesses as well, because we're getting funding from the businesses. So it's we're really pleased with how things are going, and it's really a joint effort. And we're just really grateful from the community.
Okay.
So.
Before we go to the crisis center and to Ms. Lamba, can we talk a little bit about bullying, because it is appearing more and more. Sometimes parents will move a child from one school to the other, and it is specifically for that reason. But rather than confronting the problem or bringing the issue to the attention, or sometimes they do bring it to the attention of officials, but nothing is done about it. And we're seeing more and more of that happening in the Cayman Islands. Can we talk about that a little? Ms. Lamba?
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to say, and I would be remiss if I didn't say, the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and we've had lots of conversations with the Alex Patton Foundation about this as well. The Cayman Islands Crisis Center has launched our Kids Helpline last November, and one of the reasons that we launched our Kids Helpline is because we found that we have a 24-hour crisis line. Absolutely anyone can call our 24-hour crisis line, but when children were calling our 24-hour crisis line, they were calling because they were in crisis, and they were calling because they were having thoughts of suicide, and it could. And since then, we want to make sure that that children can call our Kids Helpline about absolutely anything, and that's what we want to push. We go into schools, and we've been trying to talk to kids and promote our Kids Helpline, and kids will come to us at the end and talk to us about thoughts that their friends are having, thoughts because they're being bullied at school, things like that. We also run an at-risk youth program called our Taya Lounge, and it's for youth between the ages of 14 and 21. And it's because we want to make sure that kids, and it really starts, we're trying to have a wraparound service. We want to make sure that we're getting to our youth at a younger age and teaching them healthy ways of coping with conflict and behavior. And our Taya Lounge program is an after-school program where we talk to youth about, are they being bullied at school? What can they do about that? Are they maybe bullies themselves? Are they, how are they treating really the people around them? And one of the biggest ways we do that is by the behavior that we show them. When we're talking with our peers, when we're talking with the people we work with, other people who come into the crisis center, how are we interacting with them? And how are we, if we're having a fight, we're not hiding, if we're having a disagreement about something in our office, we're not hiding that from them. We're showing them how we deal with those disagreements and how they can continue having those conversations. And that is the biggest thing that's worked for us to talk about, to hopefully stop bullying, because it is definitely a big issue, and it's a big issue everywhere, but it is an issue here in the Cayman Islands, and I think that needs to be recognized as well.
Ms. Barton, anything to add to that?
Yeah, just as an educational psychologist, rather than my role here this morning,
Sure.
What the most disappointing thing here and elsewhere is the fact that schools pretend that bullying doesn't exist. You speak to most schools, they say, oh no, we don't have bullying here. The fact is there's bullying at every school, and they need to acknowledge that and they need to deal with it. And just pretending it doesn't exist is not helping the situation. And I think what's worse now with bullying is the fact that, with social media, it used to be children might be bullied at school, but then they'd go home and they were okay for the rest of the day. Now it follows them home.
Yes,
it's 24 hours a day. And I just wish that people would just be nicer to each other. And the whole thing about inclusion is it's diversity. If children from a very young age experience diversity and understand that everyone is different, there'd be less reason for bullying to exist. But when you segregate people, it just causes that to be more extreme, and it's so sad. But I think the social media element now is made things so much worse. And bullying happens to everybody, but schools need to acknowledge it, and they need to come up with a plan.
Okay, Ms. Lambert, back to you again. Final comments about the Cayman Islands Crisis Center.
Absolutely. So one, I want to provide our key phone numbers. We want to make sure that all the listeners have them. Our 24-hour crisis line number is 943-2422. That's 943-2422. And our kids helpline number, which is currently in a pilot phase, so it's available Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. It's 649-5437. 649-5437, and that number is available to anyone under the age of 18. We recognize that you don't only experience crisis during the times that we've offered, so our 24-hour crisis line is available to absolutely everybody. But we do want our kids to be able to use our kids helpline and know that there's something that's available just for them, and we are hoping to expand those hours and also the modes in which that they can contact us. But other than that, I just want to say thank you for having us here, and thank you for choosing the Crisis Center as a beneficiary.
Okay, we have another caller who has joined us. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Mr. O.C. Good morning to your illustrious panel there, Ms. Ahern and others. I think one of the ladies just alluded to what I'm going to ask or going to say somehow, but I don't know if statistics were taken pre-cell phone period, but I do think that, and wonder what they think about it, that the suicide or intentional suicide or the attempts at suicide rate much higher for young people, as you're talking about, teenagers and so forth, now than they were before the cell phone days. And I've noticed that young people have this as a Bible, if that's the right nomenclature, or as an encyclopedia now. They simply won't do without it. They while they're eating, they have their cell phone. When they go to bed, I don't know how they even sleep, if they do sleep or sleep with it on. It's absolutely baffling to me, this total absorption in cell phones, and I think that has a great, because you can find anything on a cell phone that you, with using it for different features that they have, and what you should know, what you shouldn't know, and useless information that will lead you astray also abounds. I just wondered if you all think that it doesn't have a big part to play in our young people's lives and in their attempts at suicide and so forth. That's just my 3 cents for the day. Thank you very much. I'll listen on.
Thank you very much, caller. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we return, we will have our panelists here. Those who are in a position to respond to your question, they will do so. So please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Have you seen the latest? Cayman has been ranked the most expensive place to live. It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Ropers Janitorial also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511.
At Logic, we make things better for our customers. It's why we're offering free Boost Wi-Fi. With Boost, you get improved Wi-Fi connectivity everywhere in your home, so there's no more dead zones. The only people we're not making this better for? is parents. Because now with seamless Wi-Fi in every room in your home, go to your room isn't really the punishment it used to be. Sorry about that. Sign up now for any Logic Bundle package and get free Boost Wi-Fi for a limited time. Visit logic.ky for details.
I'm going to Vamp Motors to test drive the new 7-seater Rush.
They have some really sweet deals going on now, not true?
Yep, on SUVs. And they sweeten the deal by giving you a warm oven-baked cookie with each test drive.
Better test drive more than one, just to be sure.
Take a test drive for a sweet surprise this month at Vamp Motors. Test drive any SUV and receive a freshly baked cookie. It's our way of saying thanks for dropping by to check out our huge sale on every SUV in stock. Save up to $4,400 during Vamp's summer SUV sale. That's every SUV in stock on sale for thousands off or cash back. Sweeten the deal only at Vamp Motors, Walkers Road.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking about the Deputy Governor's 5K Challenge. In the studio with me, we have the co-chair of the Deputy Governor's 5K Challenge, Ms. Jennifer Ahern. She's also the Strategic Operations Officer in the Office of the Deputy Governor. We also have with us Ms. Susie Borden, who's the Special Needs Foundation, CEO, of the Special Needs Foundation of the Cayman Islands. Also with us, Ms. Mahir Lamba, who's the Outreach Coordinator for the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and Mr. Shane Purcell, who's the Head of Fundraising, also a board member and support group facilitator for the Alex Panton Foundation. We had a caller who posed a question. Those who are in a position to answer it, talking about cell phones and the other devices as well.
From the Crisis Center perspective, what I can say is, we see this all the time with our youth at our Taya Lounge as well. We have screens that are monitored there. We've got Wi-Fi. We've got all of that there. It's how we get them to come. Mm-hmm. But we do talk about safe usage of it. We do monitor it. Recognize and I think the other part of that is finding what they will do that takes them away from that. What is that thing that they like that might take them away from that? And is it that group interaction? When we're doing activities as a group, sometimes they will clue out of that. But the other thing I want to push is that the Family Resource Center actually has a program for parents and youth to talk about how they use social media and how they use phones. And that's something that if you or your children are struggling with that, I would highly recommend that program, because the thing is that the phones, the cell phones, the social media, it's not going anywhere now. There's only new forms of it. There's only more of it coming to us, and it's not something that we necessarily experienced growing up, so it's not something that we know how to deal with yet, but it's not going anywhere, so we do have to accept it as a reality and just talk about, it's making those rules at your house and how you can, what time is social media time and what time is also family time, because that's what's really important. Because a lot of the youth that we work with, they're using it for validation. It's about getting those likes. It's about getting the validation from their peers at all times is what they now need at 1 a.m. When they're feeling down. When we're talking about bullying, when we're talking about mental health, it's one of the ways that makes them feel better about their mental health is if they've got that validation. It's also one of their things that affects their mental health if they don't have that validation.
Okay. Anyone else want to add?
Sorry, excuse me. Well, from the Alex Panton Foundation, we don't officially have a party line, so to speak, to talk about social media, so I'm careful not to step on toes. Plus, at the caveat, I'm not a psychologist as well, so... but I was speaking to a parent recently, and he mentioned that there is certain apps out there that can control social media for their kids, and he uses it. It's called Our Home. So if your listeners want to kind of take that on board and maybe try and research other apps that are available to try and monitor and their child's internet history, behaviour, and it even cuts off at certain times and so on and so forth. So that's just one maybe thing that might help. But just to further on what we're just talking about, it's the whole social media thing. The dopamine hits right when we get a like on social media, Instagram and and Facebook, and especially, you know, I mean, the big companies have to take a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
The Facebooks, they're all using your data to outsource to other companies, but especially for young women, like this thing of, you know, the adverts coming up and saying you're not beautiful, you're not good enough, and trying to sell all the marketing, like, so we're being used. And this is what I'd love to be able to try and to tell the kids and trying to educate them, that stay off these platforms. These platforms are using your, you know, your insecurities, right, to make money, making billions.
Profit, yes.
So why are you allowing that, you know? As I just mentioned off the phone there, is try and, you know, build up your knowledge. And, you know, it's a simple old-fashioned thing, but and trying to just promote even the library. You know, $5 for the year, you'll learn more in the library, the books. I was in there recently, and the amount of information those guys have, rather than being on Instagram, rather than being on Facebook, you know, it's just, but yeah, that's just my piece.
Okay, Ms. Borden, we're going to give you the mic on that question as well, and at the same time, continue to hold the mic and give us some final comments about your organization as well.
Sure. And I think related to social media, what I would say is, from a family point of view, parents, please model good behaviour. Don't sit there on your phone next to your child, completely engrossed, not being available to listen and talk to them. Set rules in the house. Have family mealtime where there are no phones, no electrical equipment. Sit and talk. If you're available just for chit-chat, that's when your child will tell you when they've got a problem. If I see it all the time where parents they think they're with their child, but they're not really there because they're just too distracted. So parents, please model good behaviour. The research shows that under 2 years of age, there should be no screen time at all. That's no phones, no iPads, very, very limited TV. And for parents who say, oh, yes, but there's lots of educational stuff on there, you're better off getting educational toys, educational books. They do not need to be on screen times. And if you've got young children that are already addicted to a phone, you've got a big problem. And if you're out for a meal with your family, please put them away. Do not put an iPad in front of a child at the restaurant. Talk to them. Share a meal together and talk. You know, so it's very damaging. So that's my point of view on that. Special Needs Foundation, we are doing so much work now with our families. We have over 400 families registered with us, and there are more families that we know of that have not yet registered. Everything we provide to families is free. So if you have, you know, any need, please come and meet with us. Our website has lots of information, specialneedsfoundation.ky. Also has you can contact us through that as well. We want to help in any way we can. And with schools, we are available to private and government schools. If you have an individual child that you want support with, contact us. If you want professional development for your teachers, contact us. We have a lot to do. We're very grateful to DG for picking us as one of the charities, and I think it's great that all three of the charities, we already have some strong links. A lot of the children, use all three services, so there's a lot of links there. We're very grateful for the awareness that it raises. Obviously, we'll also be very grateful for the funds that it raises.
Certainly, yes.
We don't get any government funding at all currently. Wow. Hopefully that will change in the future because we are providing a lot of support. Every penny that we get comes from donors, from events, from businesses. I think the Cayman Islands is wonderful. There's so many charities, but the community is very giving, and that's wonderful. But please come out and enjoy this event. Chat with each other. Leave your phones at home unless you want to take a photo, and just come out and enjoy the event and help support the charities. All three of the charities around this table are important, and we're trying to help the community. So please help us to do that.
Certainly. Ms. Jennifer, you get the mic for 4 minutes before 9:30.
All right. Well,
I know I've kept you here half an hour longer than you were scheduled, but I don't mind it at all.
No, it's been some great conversation, some great discussion, and it's just as we've mentioned, the charities that we have this year, like all of the charities that we've supported with the DG's 5K, are doing such important work in the community, and it's just a fantastic opportunity to learn a bit more about the impact that they're making and be able to help and give the community the opportunity to help these charities as well. So, yeah, I can't believe it that Sunday is the Cayman Brac event,
Yes.
Sunday the 15th of September. If you haven't booked yet, you can go online and get a 15% discount on Cayman Airways, but you have to do it online, and the promotional code is AHC12.
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, it's AHC12, and that's at CaymanAirways.com, and that's a 15% discount for travel to the Brac. And you can also get Cayman Brac Beach Resort, which is also where the race starts and finishes on Sunday, are offering a 10% room discount for the participants as well. So when you call to make your reservation, let them know that you're a participant in the DG's 5K, and make sure that you bring proof of your residency to waive the room tax as well. So if you want to make a reservation at the Cayman Brac Beach Resort, it's 948-1323. All of that information is also available on the DG's 5K Challenge Facebook page. So if you haven't, although we've been talking about social media.
There we go, right?
So I will reluctantly encourage everybody to get on to our Facebook page, so that you can get some of the information about these discounts as well as updates about the event. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you Sunday in Cayman Brac. The event here in Grand Cayman is on the 29th of September, so that's coming up as well. And I also want to encourage everybody to make sure and register as soon as possible. You can go to caymanactive.com DG5K to get registered, because we have a limited edition baseball cap, which has been sponsored this year by Appleby. It's got the event logo on the front, which is absolutely fantastic. Caraco has designed it this year and, as always, has done an outstanding job. And Appleby have sponsored it. So the first 400 registrants will get one of those caps. We are starting to run out of them. So if you're on the fence and you think you'd like a cap,
get on the ball.
Get on to Cayman Active and register today. I also want to remind everybody that they should bring their own water bottles to the event. This year, at the suggestion of some of our participants from last year's event, we've decided to take steps to, as much as we can, remove plastic from the event. So there won't be any plastic water bottles available. There will be water available and paper cups at the water stops. But we want to encourage everybody to bring their own water bottles. I brought mine because you'll have the opportunity to fill it up. We'll also have some powdered Gatorade as well. So if you want to mix up some Gatorade in your water bottle, you can do that as well. But please do make sure to bring your own water bottle to the event. For the first time, we've got some volunteer photojournalists. We're really excited about that. So Kara's working with them this week, so we can look forward to seeing some awesome work coming out of that. And a big thank you to everybody who's already signed up as a photojournalist. And I also want to thank our sponsors.
Sure. Go right ahead.
We've had such tremendous support from our corporate sponsors, and some of them have been with us from the beginning. Appleby is our platinum sponsor again this year. They've also, in addition to the platinum sponsorship, sponsored the limited edition caps for the first 400 registrants. So huge thank you to Appleby for that. We have 5 gold sponsors. We have EY, Butterfield, Davenport, the Credit Union, and DART, who have all stayed on as our gold sponsors this year. We have Cineco, who is our halfway point sponsor, and for those of you who have done the event here in Grand Cayman, you'll be familiar with the team at Cineco standing at the halfway point, cheering us on, telling us you're halfway there. And our water stations have been sponsored by PwC and Maples, so they're going to be keeping us hydrated without the plastic bottle. Bring your own water bottle. And our silver sponsors, we have Cayman National, we have Walkers, KPMG, Stepping Stones, Health City, Circumference FS, Denton's, London and Amsterdam, Chris Johnson and Associates, Affinity, and Genesis. So great support at the silver level. And then on the course, we've got our kilometer markers to help you keep track of how much further you've got to go. So we've got E-Auction Services, Foster's, Bedell Christian, Rich and Connolly, and Kerry Olson, who have come on board as kilometer marker sponsors, as well as a number of bronze sponsors as well. So yes, please, everybody, get registered, caymanactive.com, DG5K. This Sunday in Cayman Brac, the governor is going to be joining us for the first time at the Cayman Brac event. So we're very excited and thankful and grateful to the governor for his support for that. And then again on Sunday the 29th here in Grand Cayman. If you're looking for a training opportunity, we have the Walk Run Club that meets here at the Government Admin Building every Monday. At 5:30. Got a great group of people for all levels. If you're just getting off the couch or if you're a die-hard runner, we've got a few of those in the group. Something for everyone, and just a great sense of camaraderie. A great way to kill some time before you have to get in traffic and drive home if you live in the east like I do. And that's every Monday at 5:30. We meet at the staff entrance here at the Government Admin Building. Everyone is welcome to join us.
Okay.
But just please, come out, have fun with us, come and experience it, support these fantastic charities that have been selected by the Deputy Governor this year, and hopefully we'll see everybody there.
Excellent. And hopefully you will exceed last year's amount that was funds that was raised, which was what, 89,000?
Yeah, that was a big number. So it's a lot of pressure every year when the DG comes and says to us, so I'm thinking I'd like to set the target at. But we've had some great support from our corporate sponsors, and now we just need people to come and register and to add to that support so we can meet those numbers.
Excellent. And I want to wish the best of success to the Special Needs Foundation, as well as the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and of course the Alex Panton Foundation as well. Thank you very much. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record will continue after this short commercial break.
In 1996, Rotary Club Central led the way, initiating a disaster fund to prepare and assist our community toward recovery. The Rotary Clubs of the Cayman Islands then expanded this valuable instrument, the Rotary Cayman Disaster Fund. Thereafter, Rotary District 7020, a group of 86 clubs over 10 countries in 16 islands across the Northwest Caribbean, grew this idea, the Rotary District 7020 Disaster Fund. Today, this Rotary Central idea has worked relief and recovery, assisting communities throughout this region. Rotary, with you before, during, and after. Rotary, connecting the world.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Remember to discard all fresh fruits and vegetables, meats, all foods in canisters, dented, leaking or rusting cans after they have come in contact with floodwater. Also discard foods that are stored in cardboard boxes, paper foil, cellophane, and cloth, as well as those in open containers and packages. For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're going to have an open line at this point in time, but before we start that, Mr. Shane Purcell from the Alex Panton Foundation has remained with us for a few more minutes because he wanted to highlight something else that is extremely important, for us. Mr. Purcell.
Thanks. So I just wanted to highlight to everybody and to your listeners that this week is National Suicide Prevention Week. So, we always like to encourage people, friends, family, everybody, just to, take a minute of your day and ask people, how are you feeling today? Not just in passing, how are you today, grand, and then walking off, but actually to take the time for those couple of seconds and just look at the person in the eye and ask them, how are you actually feeling today? It's a simple little gesture like that can go a long way. That person might open up to you then. You might better take the person aside. So it's really a small but key and vital gesture I think we all should be doing. So it can be in your house with your family members, right? Ask your son or daughter after school, how are you feeling today? How was school today? And maybe add on that one. So, yeah, thanks very much. I just wanted to highlight that.
Okay, thanks very much for that as well. And I just want to add to that as well that, the Cayman Islands and many Caribbean countries as well as other jurisdictions where you see someone early in the morning, you meet them, you greet them, and you say a good morning to the individual or whatever. So again, Mr. Purcell, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For being here and adding that on as well, because you still there are, for instance, I'm a cyclist, and on the roads of the Cayman Islands, you see a fellow cyclist and you wave to them. There are some who don't greet you back, and you wonder whether or not they're true cyclists, because in the cycling fraternity, you always greet a fellow cyclist.
Yeah, and runners on the road as well, right?
Yes.
You know, you say good morning, just a smile for people. You know, it's a simple thing that can make that person's day. That you're actually taking the time out, those couple of seconds, that minute, just to see, gee, you know what? That person actually, you know, John, or whatever his name, or she actually took a time out, and she actually cared about how I feel today. And so, yeah,
excellent.
It's a massive thing.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Purcell. You enjoy your day, and all the best again to the Alex Banton Foundation. One of our listeners has written into me, and they wanted me to continue the dialogue here on For the Record in relation to natural disasters and what do we do with our expatriate population, those persons who are here working. And I'll read exactly what the person says. It says, I know that this was raised by a caller last week. What will be Cayman's response to those persons who will need to shelter if we have 100,000 persons living here? Is there a plan to create more shelters? They go on to write and say, you will recall that the Cayman Airways was able to transport many of our expatriate workers home until we were able to be ready for them to return. What will happen to many of our other foreign workers, many of whom come from distant lands? It is a critical question that needs to be answered. Now, I don't think that it would be all as critical as it is. I don't think it would be as critical as it is if all of the rental properties in the Cayman Islands were built in such a way, or were in such condition that they could withstand, say, a Category 3, Category 4 hurricane, or 5, 6 magnitude earthquake or something of that nature. Unfortunately, they can't. Unfortunately, the authorities in the Cayman Islands do not necessarily know the conditions under which some persons who are on work permits in the Cayman Islands are living, and unfortunately, even some of the employers do not know the conditions under which some of their employees are living. It used to be the days in the Cayman Islands when many employees lived with their employers, especially if they were household helpers, even gardeners. May have lived with their employers. Nowadays, we hear stories of 4 and 5 persons living in one room, sleeping on rotation, and many living in those areas of the island that are extremely vulnerable, especially vulnerable to flooding as well. I know that there is an accommodation sheet that has to be completed for the immigration authorities or the work permit folks to indicate where a person will be residing. That the details that are given may not necessarily be strictly adhered to. So it is a valid
It is a very poignant question that is being raised, an issue that is being raised in relation to what will happen with those persons. Now, those who are on the top end of the scale, who are living in condos and everything else, some of them may be vulnerable themselves, depending on where the condominiums are located and depending on what floor you are on. But this should not only, question should not only be raised in relation to if the population reaches 100,000, but it is certainly relevant to a population that we have. Some estimate 60-odd thousand. I still say that it is, if at all, if it's in the 60s, it's probably in the very low 60s figure, if not in the 50-odd thousand population range. Now, if you look at go by the number of cars that are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, you would think that the population is quite high. But just think about an event and 50 persons at the event, and each person driving a car. You're likely to see 50 cars there. So you'll say, oh, there were lots of cars at that particular venue, but only 50 people. I do not believe that we have some of the 65 and 67,000 persons residing in the Cayman Islands that we say. I don't believe that our population has exceeded the population of Bermuda yet. But again, it is a valid question. Are there plans? We know that there are certain evacuation plans for tourists who are on island when a hurricane is bearing down on us. The question has been asked, do we have similar arrangements for workers? We know that responsible, reliable, and those that are in a position financially to do so do have plans for the evacuation of their personnel, not only local personnel, but expatriate personnel as well. I would venture to say that many do not, and that poses a significant problem, a significant issue for the Cayman Islands. My thoughts and the thoughts of several others as well. We have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, O.C.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good, man. So, a couple of things, O.C. First, about the shelters, the lack of shelters, or because that came to my mind so strongly here in the past few days, given that, I don't think we have enough hurricane shelter space, even for the current population. Somebody talking about 100,000, because since I run, I know, for example, in the district I live, Borden Town, it used to be the Civic Center, which is no longer.
Right.
So it's only the school, and the school was pretty well damaged in the last bad hurricane we had. And I know in other districts it's a similar situation. So, in the 15 years since I run, we've not made any strides towards addressing that. And it's something that we really, really need to look at very, very urgently, because, thank God we've been blessed so far, but we never know. We never know, and we can't wait until an event is happening or happened before we start talking about, providing hurricane shelter space.
That is correct. That is correct. And
secondly, sorry.
No, go right ahead. Go ahead.
And my other point was about Cayman Airways, because Cayman Airways always provides yeoman service evacuating people, in the event that we have any bad storm or hurricane. But they have their problems now with the planes.
Right.
which leads me to another question, because we had this incident over the weekend, and with the plane down, that will affect the fleet and therefore will affect the schedule. And it draws to mind what's happening with these Mark 8s. What's the situation going forward? Are they going to, just sit with them until they decide that they're safe to fly again, or they're going to look at some other alternative, or and the thing is to see if those planes, if and when they get certified to be flying again, will the customers have confidence in flying them? Precisely.
And what we haven't had answered yet is what, as far as the ownership of those planes, the purchase of them, have they been leased or purchased from a third party, or did they come directly? Did we get them directly from Boeing? Management of Cayman Airways seemed to have been relatively silent on that issue.
Yes.
And as a result, we really don't know the extent of the Cayman Islands' exposure financially later on.
Another thing was I've heard talk that they paid for these planes, and they say it was 4. They have 2, and then the 2 other ones that haven't been delivered yet. Yeah. But apparently, I hear talk that they've been paid for. Mark, it was a lot of money, but they, like you say, the Cayman Airways need to come and let the people know what the situation is, and also, given that we don't know, because I don't see these planes coming on stream for at least another 6 months, maybe even longer. What are the contingency plan? Are they going to lease aircraft, or are they going to, or strike some deal with Boeing? Because I would imagine if I buy something from you and it turns out to be a defective product, then shouldn't the onus be on the person who sold the defective product to provide some kind of alternative? So,
and that would depend on what kind of agreement you entered into.
That's exactly. That depends on the deal, the contract, and all that, which we don't know,
Yes.
But anyway, a lot of questions to be answered.
They certainly are. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Take care. Enjoy your day. Last commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. If you have any questions, any comments, you're going to have about 10 or 12 minutes after this commercial break to do so. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Cayman, get ready for this year's 2019 Fidelity Fun Run Series. Join us opposite John Gray High School for the first 3 Saturdays in September at 7:30 a.m. for an exciting 2-mile run. Whether you're a serious competitor looking for a fun family activity or you want to take an early stroll, the Fidelity Fun Run Series is the event for you. Strollers and pets are welcome, and we've got trophies up for grabs as well. Register today for the races on September 7th, 14th, and 21st. And get your Fun Run t-shirt. To register, visit CaymanActive.com for more information.
In 1996, Rotary Club Central led the way initiating a disaster fund to prepare and assist our community toward recovery. The Rotary Clubs of the Cayman Islands then expanded this valuable instrument, the Rotary Cayman Disaster Fund. Thereafter, Rotary District 7020, a group of 86 clubs over 10 countries in 16 islands across the Northwest Caribbean, grew this idea, the Rotary District 7020 Disaster Fund. Today, this Rotary Central idea has worked relief and recovery, assisting communities throughout this region. Rotary, with you before, during, and after. Rotary, connecting the world.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Turning to international news.
Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Any phone calls, Miss Susan? No phone. One phone call. One call. And after this call, we're going to go to our new segment for the Record, and it will be called the Rock Hole Roundup. I will tell you all of the birthdays for people who are in Rock Hole or associated with Rock Hole, all of our residents who have traveled overseas and have returned as well. We don't have a sponsor yet for Rock Hole Roundup, but we'll work on that a little bit later as well. 3 calls. Oh, gosh. I don't know if I'm going to get my Rock Hole Roundup in. We're going to ask everyone to be as brief as possible. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, Rossi. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Your last caller with regards to this deal with Cayman Areas and these new planes. Rossi, I've never seen a government that is so callous and lack respect for the people of the country which they lead. Now here we are, we got involved, we got in bed with what I would imagine to be $400+ million of aircraft. The country who will have to ultimately pay it back, because we know Cayman Airways hasn't balanced the books now in forever. And yet they refuse to come out and tell us what the true picture is. Did they buy them planes direct from Boeing, or did they lease them, or they have bought them through a leasing company? They need to tell us what the true position is about these aircraft. Because right now, the country has money tied up, and we don't know. And I mean, one thing will be, if you don't come out and tell us the truth, it's going to lead to speculation. And then that's where people's names get tarnished and et cetera, right? So, I mean, they really got to stop being what they are, okay? Stop. Just come on and tell the people of the country the truth.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
Thank you very much, Josie.
Thank you very much, caller. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning again, Mr. Osi.
Good morning again, sir.
Just thankful that your guest sort of did answer what I said or agreed with me in a sort of political way from you. So yes or no, but some of them did. And they did come out and say that they recognize it's a problem. It is a serious one. Trust me, I think it's a very serious problem.
It really
cell phone use, it's an epidemic among young people. A serious thing.
And the one individual who's really a professional in that area, Miss Susan Barden, had some very insightful comments as well. Yes.
Yes. It is a serious problem. The one other thing I just want to say, since I know we're very short on time, I wondered if you saw the same as I do, that with the referendum thing issue, and that people realize it should be a very last resort. It is a very serious thing. It's a divisive thing, and we must understand what it leads to.
Yep.
And you cannot govern a country by referendum. It's absolutely impossible. I just wonder if it isn't time, since it's supposed to be only on an issue of
national importance,
to define that sort of in the legislative assembly, that we'd have a sort of guideline as to what can be on the referendum or cannot be as a referendum and so forth. I just wondered if you thought that maybe it's time we sort of put out those guidelines now for everyone, and it must be done by our elected representative, not by a referendum. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. I just want to say that we certainly, in our Constitution, we pointed out that when it comes to the Cayman Islands seeking independence, that must be a referendum must be held on that. So similarly, if we've done it for that, then we can certainly put other parameters in place as well. We have our last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. I'm George Sean Crown Prince.
Good morning, Lord Graham. And I had
you are not supposed to call in now because I have you on the Rock Hole Roundup as well. And before you say anything, I'm going to let everybody know that tomorrow you're celebrating a birthday too. I'm not going to tell them how old you are, but tomorrow you're celebrating a birthday. And since we won't be on the air until Wednesday, I want to say to you a happy birthday tomorrow when it comes on For the Record.
Well, thank you for that, but you mean a birthday again?
Yeah. It comes twice a year.
A couple of days ago, we had a big party for that same thing.
we still celebrating Fredo's from last year.
Yeah, coming from far. About 3 callers back, the gentleman spoke about not having adequate amount of, in his opinion, of shelters, hurricane shelters, and then he also spoke about Cayman Airways and not having the ability, in his opinion. To
we got an echo if you're on your speakerphone.
Yeah. Let me take you off.
Okay.
And he also spoke about Cayman Airways not having the ability right now to ferry people out in case of there's a disaster, hurricane. But also, even if we had all the planes in service, you got to remember now, we're going to still be in problems because I don't know if you remember me calling in about this same thing about what we would do with all the work permit people that is on island now. Cayman Airways wouldn't be able to ferry those people out. Where would they take them?
Right. Yeah.
We don't fly to the Philippines. We don't fly to Nepal and India and all those places. So, and we can't take somebody to a foreign country if they're supposed to have a visa to go there.
Exactly.
I mean, we can take the Jamaica people out and the Honduranians and Americans. But what would be really stuck with all these other nationalities on island?
Right, and if I could add, some of them do have honorary counsel here that may be looking into things of that nature, but a lot of them don't either.
Yeah. So I think this is a serious matter, and I think the hazard group need to look into that and start putting something in order, like I mentioned before. Because you see what happened in the Bahamas, and I mentioned that even before the Bahamas disaster. So that is something we really have to look into. And a lot of the people here, are living mostly in the areas that is prone to flooding and would be the first place to be smashed up, the lower income homes. So they would be the first ones to be without a shelter over their head. So I think that's a real serious matter, and we need to really look into that because it seems like hurricanes could be coming more often now, and the strength looks
stronger. Yes.
Yeah, they're not easy. They devastated the whole entire island, 2 islands. So and there's nowhere for those. And what the Bahamian people are finding now is that a lot of Haitian people was into the country hiding out in the bushes places that they had no idea, and having to have deal with that too, so that we need to look into that. So
definitely.
I think you need to keep plugging away on that.
Will do. Thank you, Lord Graham. Happy birthday tomorrow. Rock Hole Roundup. First, we want to express our condolences to the family of the late Mr. Eddington Miller, who passed away last week as well. We want to welcome Awawa back home. She's back from her, not a world tour this time. She only went to the United States. That is Awawa, Miss Alwerny Watson. Birthdays, I have already mentioned Lord Graham's birthday tomorrow. Mr. Dave Smith, the man who one of these days I'll throw the microphone at him. Mr. Dave Smith, his birthday is on September the 11th. Mr. Nathaniel Forbes, that's Churchill Forbes' son. He is celebrating a birthday on September 11th as well. He's an intern working with the planning department in the electrical section during the holidays. He's also one of Cayman's young cyclists.
And you can see him on the roads of the Cayman Islands training, especially on Sunday mornings as well. TC, he is celebrating his birthday on the 13th of this month as well. So we got a lot of celebrations going on in Rockhole. Past the 10 o'clock time, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the very busy roads of the Cayman Islands into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. Also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station. Radio Cayman, John Sterling, Dwayne Ebanks. I think he's back today, is he? At 12:15 for Talk Today, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.